Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to the 2025 Annual Stockholders Meeting of Monde Nissin Corporation. I am Mike Pasca, Chief Risk Management Officer and Chief Investor Relations Officer of Monde Nissin Corporation. Today's Annual Stockholders Meeting is being conducted virtually through the Convene AGM online platform. Present in this meeting are members of Monde Nissin Corporation's Board of Directors, namely Chairperson Emeritus Mr. Hartono Quifanis, Chairperson of the Board and ExCom member Ms. Cataline Darmono, Vice Chairperson of the Board Mr. Judiono Quifanis, Director, President, and ExCom member Ms. Betty Ong, Director, CEO, and ExCom Chairperson, Mr. Henry Sosanto. Treasurer and Director, Ms. Monica Darmono. Lead Independent Director, Chairperson of the Risk and Related Party Transactions Committee, and ExCom member, Ms. Nina Perpetua Aguas. Independent Director and Chairperson of the Audit Committee, Ms. Annabelle Chua. An Independent Director and Chairperson of the Corporate Governance, Nominations, and Remunerations Committee, Mr. Ramon Felicimo Lopez. Also joining us are Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Jesse Tail, and Corporate Secretary, Attorney Helen Tew, and members of Monde's management. Finally, we also have with us representatives from our external auditor, SGB & Company, led by the engagement partner, Mr. Roel Lucas. The results of the final tabulation of votes with full details of the affirmative or negative votes or abstentions in connection with the agenda items up for voting will be validated by Isla Lapana & Company, PwC Philippines, and reflected in the minutes of this meeting. Please note that this virtual meeting is being recorded. I would now like to turn this meeting over to the CEO and ExCom Chairman, Mr. Henry Sosanto, who will be the presiding officer and acting chairman for the stockholders meeting. He will be presiding over the meeting from Monde's principal office at Felix Reyes Street, Barangay Balabago, Santa Rosa City, Laguna, Philippines.
Thank you, Mike. Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank you, valued stockholders, for participating via live streaming in the annual stockholders meeting of Monde Nissin Corporation. In particular, stockholders who are participating in absentia and who will be voting through the Convene AGM online voting portal, as well as stockholders who have submitted their proxies to the corporate secretary. The meeting is now called to order. Ms. Corporate Secretary, may I know if we have complied with the notice requirement for this annual stockholders meeting?
Mr. Chairman, we have complied with the notice requirement. I hereby certify that in accordance with Monde's bylaws, SEC Memorandum Circular Number 6, Series of 2020, on meetings conducted via remote communication, and SEC notice dated March 12, 2025 on alternative modes for distributing the notice of meeting, information statement, and other documents in connection with the holding of the company's annual stockholders meetings in 2025. I have caused notice of this stockholders meeting, the information statements, and materials related to this ASM to be distributed to stockholders of record as of record date May 30, 2025 through the following methods. A, by publication in both online and print formats on the Philippine Star and the Manila Bulletin on June 3 and 4, 2025. The last publication being made at least 21 days prior to this annual stockholders meeting. By posting on the website of Monde Nissin Corporation at www.mondenissin.com and by disclosure through the Philippine Stock Exchange EDGE Investors Portal at www.edge.pse.com.ph. Further, the electronic copies of our definitive information statement, the 2024 annual audited consolidated financial statements, the minutes of the previous stockholders meeting, and other ASM materials are available on our website, on the Convene AGM online platform, and on the PSE Edge portal.
The stockholders of the record having been duly notified of this meeting, may I know from the corporate secretary whether we have a quorum?
Mr. Chairman, based on the record of attendance at today's meeting, there are represented at this meeting by proxy, by voting in absentia through the Convene AGM online platform, and by participation through remote communication, stockholders owning or representing at least 15,107,531,828 common shares out of Monde Nissin Corporation's 17,968,611,496 total outstanding shares. As such, stockholders entitled to vote representing at least 84.08% of the outstanding capital stock is present at this meeting, with a final count to be reflected in our minutes. I therefore certify that there is a quorum for this meeting in accordance with Monde Nissin's bylaws and the revised corporation code.
There being a quorum, may I request the corporate secretary to share the rules of conduct and voting procedures for this meeting, including the measures adopted by the company to provide the stockholders the opportunity to participate in the meeting to the same extent possible as an in-person meeting.
Mr. Chairman, the rules of conduct and voting procedures were set forth in the definitive information statement and the explanation of agenda items, which form part of the notice of annual stockholders meeting. I would just like to highlight to our stockholders the following. The agenda for this meeting covers a range of matters requiring the vote of stockholders. These matters were included in the notice sent to stockholders for this meeting. Stockholders were also given the opportunity to propose matters for inclusion on the agenda pursuant to the applicable rules and regulations of the SEC and Monde's internal guidelines. Stockholders have been notified that questions received through Convene AGM portal by 5 p.m. of June 18, 2025 will be given priority. Questions received from stockholders by June 18, if any, will be collated and answered during the Q&A portion, which will be taken up under other business part of this meeting. Monde, through its investors relations team, will respond via email to questions not taken up during today's Q&A. There are 6 agenda items to be voted on or acted upon by stockholders. Each such agenda item will be shown on the screen at the same time it is being taken up in the course of this meeting. Beginning June 3, 2025, Convene AGM portal registered stockholders were able to cast their votes on the agenda items. They may also cast their votes in real time, as the polls will remain open until the end of this meeting for stockholders who have successfully registered on the portal. Alternatively, stockholders were also provided the option of appointing the Chief Executive Officer as their proxy. A preliminary tabulation was made of votes cast as of close of business on June 26, 2025. I will be referring to this preliminary tabulation when reporting the voting results for each agenda item during the meeting. However, the results of the final tabulation of votes with full details of the affirmative or negative votes or abstentions will be validated by Isla Lipana and Company and reflected in the minutes of this meeting. We thank our stockholders who have voted through the Convene AGM online portal or by proxy. We encourage all stockholders attending via live feed today to vote using the Convene AGM online portal, which will remain open until the end of this meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Corporate Secretary. Let us now proceed to the first item of the agenda, the approval of the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting held on June 28, 2024. An electronic copy of this, which is available on Monde's website and was attached to the definitive information statement as Annex E. Ms. Corporate Secretary, please present the proposed resolution and voting result on this item.
Mr. Chairman, management is proposing the adoption of resolution number S-1-2025 for the approval of the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting held on June 28, 2024. The resolution is shown on the screen. It reads, resolved that we, the stockholders of Monde Nissin Corporation, approve as we hereby approve the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting held on June 28, 2024. Regarding the voting results on this item, stockholders owning 15,103,975,128 common shares representing 84.06% of the total outstanding capital stock of Monde have voted for the adoption of resolution number S-1-2025. Accordingly, the resolution number S-1-2025 has been approved.
Thank you. The minutes are hereby approved as presented. Let us now proceed to the next item on the agenda. The presentation of the management report comprising A, the message from the board chairperson, B, the report of Chief Financial Officer, and C, the report of the Chief Executive Officer. I now turn you over to our chairperson of the board, Ms. Kathleen Darmono.
Thank you, Henry. Good morning and greetings to our stockholders and members of the Monde Nissin Board of Directors and colleagues. It is a pleasure to welcome you to our 2025 Annual Stockholders Meeting. In 2024, we continue to make way toward our corporate aspiration to improve the well-being of people and the planet and create sustainable solutions for food security. We continue to strive to do our business more responsibly and sustainably, keeping food security and the well-being of people as our North Star, and to ensure our products' affordability and availability across the globe. We have also taken numerous initiatives to ensure our company's long-term sustainability across our businesses, and these have already shown some positive outcomes over the past few quarters. Now, I would like to turn it over to our CEO, Henry Susanto, and CFO, Jessie Dill, to provide the management's report on our full year 2024 results, along with highlights so far this year.
Thank you, Chairperson Kathleen, and greeting to our stockholders, board of directors, and colleagues. This year marks the 45th year of Monde Nissin, and as I look back on our early days as a startup of a biscuit factory in Santa Rosa, Laguna, and reflect on where we are today, I'm amazed and humbled by how far we have come. I'm also filled with gratitude for all the people who have helped Monde Nissin along the way. This incredible journey would not have been possible without the unwavering dedication of our employees, the steadfast collaboration with our suppliers, our loyal customers, the community where we operate, and of course, our customers who chose to bring Monde Nissin product. For that, we are profoundly thankful. It is this acknowledgement of the interconnectedness of Monde Nissin with our various stakeholders that drive our aspiration, as well as our desire to improve well-being of people and the planet, and to create sustainable solutions for food security. In 2024, we achieved record revenue of 83.1 billion pesos, growing 3.7% versus 2023 on a comparable basis, and a 28.6% increase in our core net profit to 9.8 billion pesos. This performance provides the foundation for our continued investment for our stakeholders. And with that, I would like to turn it over to CFO JCQ to provide more details on our full 2024 financials and recent developments. JCQ.
Thank you, Henry, and good day to everyone. Consolidated revenue for the full year 2024 ended at the record 83.1 billion pesos, increasing by 3.7% on a comparable basis, largely driven by volume growth in all of our Asia-Pacific branded food and beverage, or APAC BFB categories. By business, full-year net sales for APAC BFB business increased by 5.4% to 69.5 billion pesos. Meanwhile, revenues from the meat alternative business declined by 4.5% on a comparable basis to 13.6 billion, reflecting the continued challenging environment. Our APAC BFB business made up 84% of total sales as of full year 2024. The full year net sales growth of 5.4% for this business was largely driven by increase in volume across all categories. The domestic business in particular grew 5% year-on-year to 64.7 billion in 2024. On the other hand, our meat alternative business, which represents 16% of our total sales compared to 18% of total sales in 2023, saw revenue decline year-on-year as category headwinds persisted. However, profitability improved as the business achieved neutral EBITDA and a positive cash position for the full year. With our portfolio of value products, we sustained our market-leading positions despite some market share dips in some categories. For noodles, we achieved market share gains as volumes grew, with our flagship brand Lucky Me driving category growth. Our strong performance in this category was driven by our Casalo pack. Our chicken chili mansi and beef chili mansi instant mami also drove incremental growth, while our multi-pack effectively increased consumptions. Efforts such as these are why our flagship noodle brand Lucky Me was once again recognized by the Kantar Brand Footprint Report as the #1 most chosen brand in the Philippines for the 10th consecutive year in 2025. Next, biscuit experienced a marginal dip due to some supply constraints. We remained #2 among top players in the category. Our M.Y. Sun Graham, Skyflakes, and Nissin Butter Coconut brands saw accelerated growth during the year, and we hope to continue this momentum as we build more capacity for the biscuit business. Now others, which consists of strategic partnerships with strong brands in the culinary and beverage categories. For culinary, Mamacita's oyster sauce retained its #1 position with 58.7% market share. In 2024, penetration continued to drive Mamacita's performance as oyster sauce subcategory penetrated 60% of Filipino households, with Mamacita having the lion's share of the category penetration. We have successfully marketed the value of oyster sauce as a versatile and complete culinary aid that can replace soy sauce. For beverage, Dutch Mill yogurt drink saw share gains to 89.6%. Increased purchase frequency together with our improved general trade distribution further solidified our market leadership. Lastly, Delight continues to be a formidable challenger in the cultured milk space with a significant market share increase. We now have 36.8 value share nationwide, driving category growth. Delight drove this category growth. Lastly, on our meat alternative business, in the UK, which is our biggest market, we were able to maintain our #1 position in retail despite the ongoing category challenges. More notably, we have a new CEO for the meat alternative business, David Floschel, who is an experienced executive who has successfully led the transformation of several food and beverage companies. He's leading the transformation of business through a turnaround program called Transform to Win Together, which will prioritize first driving operational gains through restructuring, a leaner organization, and supply network optimization, driving a stronger commercial execution, building on and rebuilding the strength of the brands, identifying and prioritizing a few market opportunities, and maintaining cash discipline. Ultimately, the program aims to return to sales growth and deliver positive core EBITDA in the medium to long term. Now, returning to the consolidated level, on profitability, core net income attributable to stockholders increased by 28.6% to 9.8 billion, primarily driven by our improvement in gross profit. Reported profit reversed to a net income of 450 million versus a net loss in 2023. The solid core bottom line also translated to a stable cash position, enabling us to return value to shareholders by dividends in the second quarter of 2025. As such, we are happy to share that we paid out 2.7 billion in dividends last month. This translates to a dividend of 15 centavos per share, our highest dividend so far. All in all, we believe that business fundamentals remain solid, as reflected in our strong balance sheet and healthy ratios, allowing us to pursue investments in our brands and products. Now, I would like to turn you over back to Henry to speak on our long-term strategies.
Thank you, Jesse. Long term, we see a long runway for each of our businesses. For Asia Pacific PFP, we will leverage our expertise on innovations, brand building, health, sustainability, and convenience to create products that address consumers' demand. For meat alternative, cost and cash discipline continues to be key focus for us. And as mentioned earlier, we are undertaking initiatives that would address the challenges the business is facing while protecting our growth drivers. The ESG target. This aligns with our corporate aspiration and allow us to become a better business, alongside our progress in our sustainability journey. Our efforts to concretize and operationalize sustainability at the company continue to bear fruits in 2024. With a mindset of constant improvement and intentionality, we continue to drive positive impacts in making better food accessibility possible, making eco-efficiency possible, making inclusivity possible, making collective action possible. Each of our sustainability strategic pillars supported certain United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And it was through this that we believe we'll be able to progress in making better possible. All these have helped us to ensure the short-term sustainability and business continuity of our company. Now, Q1 2025 performance. Our consolidated revenue for the first quarter increased by 2.8% to 20.9 billion pesos. APAC PFP's net sales for the first quarter increased by 4.1% to 17.6 billion pesos. The domestic business grew 4.3% year-on-year to 16.5 billion pesos. Meanwhile, meat alternative revenue declined by 3.8% to 3.3 billion pesos in the first quarter, again due to the continued category softness. With this, we will continue to be prudent with capital we have. We remain bullish in our CapEx projection for the APAC PFP businesses as we strive to fulfill strong demand and maintain volume momentum. For meat alternative, we'll have more modest CapEx budget, primarily geared towards the cost-saving projects. Monde team. This is a manifestation of our aspiration to improve the well-being of people and the planet, which drive our holistic support to stakeholders through developing better and healthier products for our consumers, extending financial values to our shareholders, and promoting productive mindset with our employees. All this is possible with the collaboration and care of our people. We are most grateful and highly appreciative of the efforts they have made in this past year. I would like to thank our stakeholders for the support you have given us all this time. May we continue this journey of constant improvement together. I'm confident the company will uphold our value of ethical and sustainable innovation for the betterment of people and the planet. Thank you. Now, may I ask Corporate Secretary to present the proposed resolution regarding the management report and voting result.
Mr. Chairman, management is proposing the adoption of resolution number S-2-2025 for stockholders to take note of the management report, which consists of the message of the board chairperson, the report of the chief financial officer, and the report of the chief executive officer. The resolution is shown on the screen. It reads, resolved that we, the stockholders of Monde Nissin Corporation, note as we hereby note the corporation's management report comprising of the message of the chairperson of the board, the report of the chief executive officer, and the report of the chief financial officer. Regarding the voting results on this resolution, stockholders owning 15,103,975,128 common shares, representing 84.06% of the total outstanding capital stock of Monde, have voted for the adoption of resolution number S-2-2025. Therefore, resolution number S-2-2025 has been approved.
The management report is hereby noted. Let us now proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is the ratification of the 2024 annual audited consolidated financial statements. May I ask the Corporate Secretary to present the proposed resolution regarding the ratification of the 2024 annual audited consolidated financial statement of Monde Nissin Corporation and its subsidiaries and the voting result.
Mr. Chairman, an electronic copy of Monde's 2024 annual audited consolidated financial statements was attached to the definitive information statement as part of its Annex D or management report, which was made available on Monde's website on PSE Edge portal and the Convene AGM online portal. Management is proposing the approval of resolution number S-3-2025 for the ratification of the 2024 annual audited consolidated financial statements of Monde Nissin Corporation and its subsidiaries. The resolution is shown on the screen. It reads, resolved that we, the stockholders of Monde Nissin Corporation, ratify as we hereby ratify the annual consolidated financial statements of the corporation and its subsidiaries for the year ended December 31, 2024 as audited by its external auditor, Sisib Gores Velayo and Company. As to the voting results on this item, stockholders owning 15,103,975,128 common shares, representing 84.06% of the total outstanding capital stock of Monde, have voted for the adoption of resolution number S-3-2025. Therefore, resolution number S-3-2025 has been approved.
Thank you, Ms. Corporate Secretary. The annual consolidated financial statement of Monde Nissin Corporation and its subsidiary for the year ended December 31st, 2024 as audited by the external auditor SGB and company are hereby ratified. The next item in the agenda is the ratification of all acts of the Board of Directors, board committees, officers, and the 25. May I ask the Corporate Secretary to present the proposed resolution regarding this matter and voting result.
Mr. Chairman, our Board of Directors and Management seek ratification of all acts and resolution of the Board of Directors, the Executive Committee, and other board committees which were adopted from June 28, 2024 until today, June 27, 2025. These acts and resolutions were summarized in the explanation and rationale of agenda items portion of the definitive information statement. They include the election of the members of the various board committees and the lead independent director, the appointment of officers and appointment of attorneys in fact and authorized signatories, capital allocation, disbursement of funds to subsidiaries, treasury-related matters, investments, approval of authority to enter into certain agreements, arrangements, and other contracts needed by the company concerning transactions in the normal course of business, and matters covered by disclosures to the SEC and the PSE. Stockholders' ratification is also being sought for the acts of officers and management taken to implement the resolutions of the board, the executive committee, and other board committees, or perform in the general conduct of our business or pursuant to our bylaws, done or performed from June 28, 2024 to June 27, 2025. We are showing on the screen resolution number S-4-2025. It reads, resolved that we, the stockholders of Monde Nissin Corporation, ratify, as we hereby ratify, each and every act and or resolution from June 28, 2024 to June 27, 2025 of the Board of Directors, the Executive Committee, and other board committees exercising power delegated by the Board, of officers and management of the corporation perform in accordance with the resolutions of the Board, the Executive Committee, and the board committees, or pursuant to the bylaws of the corporation. On the voting results, stockholders owning 15,103,975,128 common shares, representing 84.06% of the total outstanding capital stock of Monde, have voted for the adoption of resolution number S-4-2025. Consequently, resolution number S-4-2025 has been approved.
Thank you, Ms. Corporate Secretary. Each and all acts and all resolution of the period for the period June 28, 2024 to June 27, 2025 of the Board of Directors and its board committee of officers and management of the company are hereby ratified. The next order of business is the election of the 9 members of the Board of Directors of the company for the ensuing year. May I please ask Corporate Secretary to present the list of nominees for election to the board?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Monde Nissin Corporation recognizes the importance of diversity in the membership of its Board of Directors. Its incumbent board comprises individuals of diverse ages, nationalities, and genders, and spans a broad range of business and educational backgrounds. This diversity puts Monde's board on the best position to provide meaningful value to the company and its stockholders, consistent with Monde's core aspiration to improve the well-being of the people and the planet and create sustainable solutions for food security. Guided by the foregoing and pursuant to Monde's Corporate Governance, Nominations, and Remuneration Committee's rules governing nomination and election of directors, the following nominees have been nominated as members of the Board of Directors and have consented to their respective nominations. Hartono Quifanus, Catalin Darmono, Hediono Quifanus, Betty T. Ang, Henry Sasanto, Monica Darmono, Nina Perpetua D. Aguas for Independent Director, Annabel L. Chua for Independent Director, and Ramon Felicissimo M. Lopez for Independent Director.
Thank you very much, Ms. Corporate Secretary. May we have the result of the election?
Mr. Chairman, there being only 9 nominees for the 9 seats, the affirmative votes in favor of those nominated have been tabulated, and each of the 9 nominees has garnered at least 14,232,699,033 affirmative votes, or at least 79.21% of the total outstanding capital stock of Monde. Given this, I hereby certify that each of the nominees has received enough votes for the election to the board. Our proposed resolution number S-5-2025 is shown on the screen. It reads, resolved that we stockholders of Monde Nissin Corporation elect, as we hereby elect, the following directors of the corporation to serve as such beginning June 27, 2025 until their successors are elected and have duly qualified. Hartono Quifanus, Catalin Darmono, Hediono Quifanus, Betty T. Ang, Henry Sosanto, Monica Darmono, Nina Perpetua D. Aguas for Independent Director, Annabel L. Chua for Independent Director, and Ramon Felicissimo M. Lopez for Independent Director. Given that each nominee has secured at least 79.21% vote in his or her favor, accordingly, resolution number S-5-2025 has been duly approved.
Thank you, Ms. Corporate Secretary. The next item on the agenda is the election of external auditor and the approval of its audit fee. May we request the chairperson of the audit committee to please present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Audit Committee performs oversight functions over the company's external auditor by, among others, assessing its integrity and independence and the effectiveness of its audit processes. This is critical given the key role of the external auditor in providing objective assurance with respect to Monde's financial statements. Mr. Chairman, in the performance of this oversight function, the Audit Committee has evaluated the performance of Monde's incumbent external auditor, Sisip Gores Pelayo and Company, for the past year, and the Audit Committee is satisfied with its performance. The Audit Committee and the Board of Directors have agreed to endorse for stockholders' approval the appointment of accounting firm Sisip Gores Pelayo and Company as Monde's external auditor for the calendar year 2025 for an audit fee of 16,970,000 pesos, exclusive of value-added taxes for year-end audit and audit-related services.
Thank you very much, Director Chua. Ms. Corporate Secretary, may we have the proposed resolution on this item and the voting result?
Mr. Chairman, the Board of Directors and Management are proposing the adoption of resolution number S-6-2025 for the appointment of Monde's external auditor and the fixing of its remuneration. The resolution is being shown on the screen. It reads, resolved that we, the stockholders of Monde Nissin Corporation, approve, as we hereby approve, the appointment of accounting firm Sisip Gores and Pelayo and Company as the external auditor of the corporation for the calendar year 2025 for an audit fee of 16,970,000, exclusive of value-added taxes for its audit and audit-related services. On the voting results, I am pleased to report that stockholders owning 15,103,975,128 common shares, representing 84.06% of the total outstanding capital stock of Monde, have voted for the adoption of resolution number 6-2025. Consequently, resolution number S-6-2025 has been approved.
Thank you, Ms. Corporate Secretary. The appointment of Sisip Gores Pelayo and Company as Monde Nissin external auditor for the calendar year 2025 for an audit fee of 16,970,000 pesos ex VAT for its audit and audit-related services has been approved. Are there any other matters that require consideration from the stockholders?
There is none, Mr. Chairman. The stockholders were given the opportunity to submit proposals for agenda items for possible inclusion in today's agenda, but we did not receive any.
Thank you, Ms. Corporate Secretary. We'll now address questions or comments from the stockholders, and I am turning the floor to over to Mr. Mike Pasca, our Chief Risk Management Officer and Chief Investor Relations Officer. Mike, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will read aloud the questions or comments together with the name of the stockholder who sent them. First question comes from stockholder Aaron Legaspi. Can you provide color on the growth in the biscuit segment?
I think this was mainly driven by the volume growth of Skyflakes and Memboysan Graham, supported by our successful marketing campaigns. For Memboysan Grahams, we have seen increase in usage occasions as there is usually substantial increase in demand during the holiday season.
The second question comes from stockholder Marion Ko. Given the depreciation of the Philippine peso to around 57 against the US dollar, could you please provide color on how this is impacting our business?
I'll take this on. We have sufficient US dollar stockpile covering more than 50% of our US dollar short position. We have also locked in substantially our key raw materials, minimizing the impact of commodity and currency.
The third question comes from stockholder Pierre Santos. Can you comment on the possibility of further impairments in the meat alternative business?
We are on track in meeting our EBITDA glide path for the year. However, we are closely watching the effect of geopolitical uncertainties on the WACC rate.
Mr. Chairman, there are no further questions.
Thank you, Mike. That concludes the 2025 Annual Stockholders Meeting of Monde Nissin Corporation, and the meeting is hereby adjourned.
The link to the video recording of this meeting will be posted on the company's website. Stockholders may raise any issue, clarification, or concern within 2 weeks from the posting of the link by sending an email to the email addresses flashed on the screen. We thank all of you for joining us today and for your continued support to Monde Nissin Corporation. I wish you all well and please stay safe. Thank you very much.